Anyway, look, I am so happy to be here today. As Rob said, this is Beautiful Black Books. If you haven't been here before, you're in for a treat. I mean, what we really do, I secretly say this is just about me, getting with folks that I love, and I love their work, and I love who they are as individuals and what they do for the craft of poetry. So there's a good part of this that's selfish, but it's a way to get these folks out to our communities, and our communities out to them. I often say that, we go to poetry readings, we go to shows, folks, do what they do on the microphone, and then we leave. We may get a chance to ask a question or two, but we don't really get a chance to like get behind and understand sort of, hey, what were their inspirations? Why did they get there? How did they get here? Those type of things. So that's the aim, part of the aim of the show as well. So today we are honored to have the brother Shawn William, a Grammy award-winning poet, educator, a cultural voice. He bridges art, music. I mean, the bio reads itself, right? Shawn Williams is a Grammy-nominated spoken word artist, published author, storyteller, and proud father, hailing from Oakland, California. I say it again, Oakland, California. With over 20 years of dedication to his craft, his dynamic writing and captivating performances have taken him to iconic stages such as the Apollo Theater, Radio City Music Hall, and the Essence Festival, among others. He's been putting in this work, y'all. His work has been featured on the Arsenio Hall show, Verses and Flow, and he was honored as one of the only 5 artists selected for a prestigious residency at the Kennedy Center. Y'all welcome Shawn William. What's going on, brother? It's so good.
Words. Yeah, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good now. It's like I always get like real nervous before these shows, because I'm trying to do some research. It's like folks that I know, but I'm still getting nervous. And then once I sit down and I see them in front of me, like it's just like, oh, we just chopping it up.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Those
are the best interviews.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It feels good. But how have you been, man? There's a lot. We were before the show started, we were talking about all the things that are happening in Oakland, but just for you, before we even start, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
This day, this week, this month, because we go day by day, right? Sometimes moment by moment. But I'm good. Like, I'm really good. And what it starts off is I'm good, my son's good, the people around me are good. I'm having a conversation with some people that I've known for some years. So life is good right now. So I'm good. And thank you for asking.
No, and I love that, because you absolutely are right. It's sort of like, no longer, I feel at least, no longer are the days of like, let me plan out this week or what this month gonna look like. It's like, what's happening at 10:05?
Yep.
How am I feeling at 10:08?
Exactly.
Stuff changes and moves so often, and unfortunately, I think we are subject to like the movement. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, there's resistance, but all the resistance for so long put gray hairs in your beard.
And also like fatherhood now, like before when we first met each other, it's like, okay, I'm good. But now there's bits and pieces of that, like it's everything good, right?
Exactly. I'm not so good if they ain't good.
Exactly.
So it's all tied, it's all connected. I love it. One of the things I do every so often on the show, I go into, because like I love this sort of intersection of technology and then I hate it, but I love it at the same time. But sometimes in the shows I do like what I call like the AI check-in. So I go on ChatGPT, pull somebody up, and I'm like, okay, who is this person? And then I bring it to you to tell you what they say, to see whether or not you agree or not. Now, here's the funny thing with you, and for the folks that out in the audience, if the folks out in the audience, if you know, there's something that happens with melanin with people named William that make Black people attach an S to it, regardless. And I know this man, and I keep doing it myself, right? But this is why it's funny. I typed in ChatGPT, I said, who is Shawn William, no S? ChatGPT wrote back, you're likely asking about Shawn William without the S. A spoken word artist, author, and Grammy. Like, I lied to you not.
I love it.
I'm like, Shawn is feeding the algorithm.
I am. I am.
I was so shocked. But needless to say, what it said was intelligent, evocative, occasionally humorous. It don't know. You are always humorous, but always grounded in real experience. He stands out for seamlessly blending performance, authenticity, and craft. He doesn't just read, he inhabits his work. What do you think about that? You agree? You disagree? Is that on point?
That's interesting. I believe it is on point at times because sometimes I'll put stuff out and I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm just really feeling that.
Right,
And
right.
the people who know me are like, oh, he's really serious. So sometimes I'm being funny and it's like, okay, I wasn't trying. Sometimes I am trying, but I believe all of that is on point and just continue on learning.
Yeah.
I have the spoken word part of it perfected.
Mm-hmm.
I'm forever trying to be a better writer. So that's where I'm working at now. Like the performance wise, got it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. Right. It's exactly. It's like, am I talking at this stage? Right. It's kind of like, am I talking to 5 people? I'm talking to 5,000 people. There's tweaks and levers you pull, but at the same time, it's that content, right? It's like, what are we saying? How are we working out that audience in the first place? So I love that. The other piece I go to is sort of like, I love comic books. I love sci-fi. I'm obsessed with comic books. And as you know, each character has sort of this like creation story, like what was their hero's origin story. So what is that for you? Like, what are the things what happened? Like, how did you become a poet? How did you find this work?
I became a poet because it's funny that you say a character. I was a character as a kid. Always getting in trouble, always just standing out one way or another. And my mother would give me, like, my first bit of writing was, I will not talk in class. I will not. And so then after doing so many of those things, it was getting so bad, I would have I will not already written, just getting ready for the following week. I was that kind of guy. And what ended up happening after that is my mom knew that wasn't hitting the writing more. So then it was like, okay, write me a story. Write me a story of what happened this weekend. Create this fictitious character, like this fictional character, and just give me a story. And so that became into writing stories. My mother was a big movie buff, so she'd take me to all kinds of movies. It would be something like, it could be something like the latest Star Wars or Casablanca at an old school movie theater. I would see so many movies with her. And so that helped generated the engine for storytelling as well, seeing all these great movies. And then fast forward to years later, I started going to spoken word spot, went to this spot in Oakland called Dorsey's Locker. And then I started seeing all these people who look like me or look like people I didn't think poets looked like, and they were saying these amazing words. And I was like, I want in. And so I came back the following week, signed my name, didn't get on, came back the next week. Like, that could have crushed me, but I wanted it so much. I came back and then got on. And the time I came back, the feature was Talamasi. And I was like, it's a wrap.
I love it. Yeah, it's so fun. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, the end. That's it.
That's it. It was like I saw him, and then there.
Yeah.
No, it's so funny because I've talked to so many people, and there's like a similar story. Yours is so it's so on point with similar, so it run parallel to mine in that I love movies, and my like first movie that my mom, I don't even want to tell nobody because then they're gonna be like, damn, you old. But it was Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger, dude.
Remember that movie?
You could see the strings in the
exactly.
But I remember going to that movie theater and being like totally blown away. Like the world does not exist anymore. Here's this new world that I could walk into. And from that day, I was like, the idea of like storytelling and being able to create these environments that folks could sit in, or I could sit in, by myself, is just incredible. And similar to you, your Talamasi was my Ainsley Burroughs. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Ainsley, yeah.
Shout out to Ainsley Burroughs. But it's so funny how so many of the folks have like this similar thing, that this trigger that happens as a kid, as a young person, and he might not start writing. You and I, well, you were writing, I will not talk in class. I was writing like I will not get other people in trouble in class. You know what I mean? either way, it's like this stemming from this early age to like turn into this thing that we love. That's incredible. So I know the other thing is I've seen because secretly troll you and such. So outside of like you trolling Angela Bassett,
Yeah,
look, okay, I'm just saying, I'll just leave it there.
there we go.
And repping the Clips album. I mean, dude, this Clips album is I can't even like y'all just need to go get it if you haven't already. You gotta get off this show
They
program.
read books and they watch movies too. You can tell by the bars.
I'm saying, and even the folks that are featuring on there, my man Push, my man Push, Dirty White,
like Ross. You read. I know you read books.
Okay, exactly, literary.
Yes.
So, I mean, all through that album, but I'm gonna digress. But like, I love, and this is, I get into this because what I do love is, like you said, you're not trying to be humorous, but the stuff the stuff you write about, the stuff you say is so authentic, right? And it's like what comes out is this thing that's real, and a lot of the times that's that's humorous. I mean, you and I'm gonna shout out somebody else. Like I am waiting for the sitcom with you and Deidre. Like y'all
Shout out to my sis. Yes.
y'all two are just, I mean, like that is straight up a sitcom. I would watch that. I would pay for that on Tubi. I will pay for that. But it's all of that stuff that you're doing. I see that you're traveling, you're doing shows. Like how what's the last place that you've been? I'm assuming you're back home now. You're in Oakland. Let me not tell your business because I don't know if you owe nobody money.
No.
But I'm assuming that I think you just came back from somewhere not too long ago.
So yes, Chicago. I was doing something in Chicago. I'm a part of this foundation, My Brother's Keeper, the Obama initiative that got really big during that time. And I've been blessed to be able to do numerous shows. I was at a convention in Chicago. It's one of their biggest, not just spoken word, but conventions in the nation. And so I did their yearly event. I was a speaker. I was on the panel, did a feature. And it's really a beautiful thing. Hopefully we can, because the orange person is trying to take funding away from them. But not only good for me, but they also, they incorporate a lot of spoken word artists. Guapale was there, other individuals so they just get artists in general, getting them a check, get them in front of bigger audiences, get them in front of people, not just bigger audiences, in front of people in the community. So when they're in Chicago, when they're in San Francisco, they bring Hunters Point, they'll bring East Oakland communities, they'll bring South Side of Chicago to these things so they can see us and see that there's more, instead of bringing nothing wrong with it, but bringing a bunch of private school kids that are already on their way to college.
Right, exactly. And it's like you said in the beginning, in the space of like I don't think folks realize how important it is for someone to see someone that looks like you in this other arena, in this other environment, and how that like intrinsically changes you, like DNA level changes
Yes.
you in life. And so that is incredibly important. I've seen it on the other side, on the corporate side, being like, you sitting in a room where you just, you're the only one that look like you, and you're like, so I know you want to give this gift out to people, but you can't send watermelon candy to the South.
Exactly.
Like, I'm glad I was here. So, there's folks just have to be in places. I don't care what places, we have to be in places representing. Anyway, again, I digress.
But even on that, I just want to say, so I've been doing that, been doing some other shows, but I brought it back also to the essence, to what I was kind of known on. I'm back slamming. I was at the Berkeley Slam.
What?
I've been there twice this month slamming. I'm getting sharper again because, as you probably know, like I've been featuring, and features are different from slams. And I've been like headline features. So that's a whole different level. And I'll just keep it real quick. I went to a slam. I was at the Berkeley Slam, their first opening slam, and the first was like, "What are you doing here?" And they're like, "Are you slamming?" I'm like, "No, I'm for real. I'm slamming." My first round, I'm so used to featuring, and Deidre was there. I went 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Of course you did. Of course you did. It is, dude. It's such a different. It's like, at least the way I see it, is the same way you like. I don't want to say promoted, but you're changing different. You take it's a different job.
Yeah.
It's a different job. One is, economy of language, right? The other one is, it's still economy of language, but you got to get the crowd together. You got to, they don't know you. It's like, oh, I mean, I'm preaching to the converted. You already know, but I did not know that. So
yeah, I'm back. I didn't tell anybody. I'm just making an announcement now. I'm back slamming. I'm trying to make the team and all that. I am going through the gauntlet.
What's the impetus behind that? Why?
I've always been competitive, and I've always wanted to be a better writer, performer, artist, all the way around. And I'm seeing all these things, like in Baltimore, they have these, what is it, the Charm Slam, and you're seeing these head-to-heads and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm interested. But if I ever got invited, because Black Chakra talked to me about it, am I slam ready? No. Right. And so there's just a difference. There's stuff going on in Houston. Amir's talking about some stuff, and I'm not slam ready. So for me to get slam ready and also get back into the community, the Bay Area community, I want to get into slam and see what these people are doing, but also raise their level, because even though I'm not, as you know, like in Southern California, Rudy will go to a DPL and Rudy don't need to be there, but he'll go there because he's sharpening himself and also raising the bar.
Right.
I see with these poets in Berkeley, I'm raising the bar, and they're also making me sharper, because the first time I got the 2-point penalty, so I came in second, I mean, thank goodness. But last time I came in fourth. Yeah. So, and it's just because you got to figure out which poems go here and all this other type of stuff. So I'm enjoying the journey, getting myself sharp again.
Dude, I commend you for that. My ego won't let me do it.
It's tough. It's tough.
I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, wait, what? 8 point what?
Yo, man, I did a poem for my son, and it was the first time I put it in a slam situation. And you know, if you put a poem in a slam, you're not supposed to be attached to it. Man, I got a 6.4 for my son.
Nah, man, they like, yo, yeah, son, kick rocks.
Yeah, but then it went to 9.2, so I was like, okay, but still, yeah. it was something.
Yeah. Oh my God, look, dude. I am, like I said, I want to get back there, but it's just like the space, and like you said, there's so much going on, and like I think there's probably stuff I need to unload first, and then I can go back to that space when it is about like march, get set, go, type of thing. But you said something that was I think incredibly, like I think something that folks miss, and it's, again, at least this is, again, my opinion. I don't think, like, the scene is cyclical sometimes, you know what I mean? And what happens, at least what I've seen, and I've had the privilege of being in the Bay Area, in San Jose, in New York, in England, and the one thing that is consistent is you have people that are rocking the mic, people that are just doing their thing. Then they get a success. So then, and they're not doing anything on purpose, but now they're doing gigs, they're moving, they're doing their thing. And so now the level of poetry that's left is here, and there's no one out there for them to be aspirational. So it's like, okay, whoever was left was here. And I'm not saying here is like a 6. I'm just saying whatever that number is here, but there's no one there. So you're only getting here. And if we're not coming back into these spaces to show them, to just show them that like shit can be done different.
At least one slam every 2 months if we could be there. Because if you think about it, me, Prentice, you, Deidre, Chaz, Jay Lee, Message, Jason Bayani, all those individuals left.
Yeah.
That's a void. Like, forget just me. Right. That's a void all the way around. Matt Dennis, God bless, he passes. Like, all these individuals who used to be there are gone. And you're like, you have all these new people that are doing well, but they don't have that bar to see that there's more.
Right. And they're doing well locally. You know what I mean? And so that, it's like, oh, I'm killing it here. And it's like, and then you just go 2 cities away and it's not the same.
Yeah. Respectfully, they found out when they went to the regional, and they said like they found what different was.
Yes, yes,
Now,
exactly.
yeah.
So you answered probably part of the question I was going to next, which is like you being in these spaces and being able to be blessed to travel and do these features. Like, what do you think has poetry lost anything since you started? Has it gained anything? Like, what do you feel like the sort of the portrait looks like now versus like 20 years ago when you sort of got into this game?
I don't want to be the old head, so I'm gonna say it's a gift and a curse, right? So the gift is, do you remember those times like 15 years ago when you had to try to find video where somebody might have had a whole camera thing and they had to record you and they had to mix it and get it? Like that was hard to like, could I get video of something, right? To get on Def Poetry or get on these platforms, because you literally needed to have a VHS tape to send over some kind of file that was huge that couldn't go through the email, all those types of things, right? So in 2025, where we can put all this information on the phone, we can edit our stuff the way we want it. We can have there's venues that are live streaming and all that, so people around the world could see your words. That's an amazing thing. On the flip side, I just don't think that people are working on their craft as much, because since I can be seen in Germany and somebody likes it, now they think that they're on the same level as somebody who's been working 30 years or 15 years of doing all these other things. And I've seen the climb of you. You've seen the climb from me. Like it wasn't it wasn't easy. It wasn't just like we just got on. You saw the network that had to happen. And I missed that part of it. Instead of, social media can make somebody think that they're a star because their poem went viral. And it's like, oh, I've got one poem. But how many poems do you have? Do they all sound the same? Does it sound like an infinite poem? So there's the gift and the curse that we can get our work out there faster. We can reach more people. But how are we reaching them? And are we continuing on working?
Right, right. Dude, that is so real. That's so real. I remember I was sitting, the first time I saw an iPhone, I was sitting on stage at the Poetry Lounge. And somebody had one and I was like, what did they do?
Right.
They got buttons to press, like
Yeah.
you know. So, but you make such a good point, and it's something that I tell. I was lucky enough to be in London on this radio show last year, and she asked me a similar question, and it's like I don't want to be that dude, but like you got folks talking about I'm an international poet, I'm a what you call it, and it's like, wait, have you ever been there? And it's like, no, because my YouTube was seen in from people in Brazil, and so now you're in, and I'm just like, yeah, see, technology is great, but that don't mean
you're an internet no.
Internationally acclaimed poet. And I'm just like, and again, I feel bad because I don't want to be that person, but then I'm just like, but folks have to work for these titles. You know what I mean? And because we had this, and like you said as well, I think, God, this is changing the whole shape of this conversation.
No, that's okay. That's what real conversations are, right?
Exactly. When you said about the networking, like the beautiful thing, and I don't know and it may exist in other states now, but the idea that like after the Poetry Lounge, everyone is going to the Denny's, or after the so-and-so in New York, everyone's going to the Dominican restaurant or whatever. But the networking didn't involve like, oh, I talk to this person regularly on Instagram. Like you were in spaces with them having conversations. I mean, even after Berkeley, I remember after Berkeley, folks would like get together and go grab some food or something like that, or in San Francisco, I was on the San Francisco team, go on a mission, and grab a burrito. But it's like, I feel like that part is missing, at least from what I've seen.
I'll take it a step further. After the New Yo, and there was no social media when I met you at the New Yo. So right. After the New Yo, I got information from you. And then years later, Scorpio Blues and Inner City at the time, we flew you out. We flew Andrew Tyree, I'll Be Back. All that was from New Yo conversations after or before that helped us network to put you on shows. So that's the difference too. Instead of, oh, I just see this individual on social media, will they check their DMs? And there's no real connection.
Right, right. And everything that I've seen it's curated, right? It's like, oh, this is me waking up in the morning. Wait, somebody videotaping you, so you wasn't waking up.
Right.
like really? But yeah, it is a different world, and it's like I try, even with my daughter, it's like I try to not be that in my day, you know.
Right, right, exactly.
But there's some very realness attached to that because there's these assumptions being made. Like you are not putting out an album if you just came on the scene and you got 3 poems. Like you got 3 poems.
And you want a book.
Right.
You're putting a book out.
And then you asking me to feature. Like, wait a minute. You anyway, okay, all right. Anyway.
But I have 9,000 views on it.
Right, exactly. You want to be on my joint. Look how many people are watching me. Oh God, I'm gonna get hate emails after this. After this. But yeah, it is. There's things I think that you're missing, and then the other part of it, like, so there's the scene that's missing, you know. And you touched on this with Matt Dennis, but like even more recently, like 2025 is crazy. I mean, it took my dad. It took like 2025 is like a beast, you know. Most recently, you know, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and then Andrea Gibson. Like, how does that change anything for you in terms of like how you're moving with your craft?
1,000%, right? So, and first of all, my condolences to your father and to your family. There are two different ways, right? So Andrea Gibson, who was when you go back to her work, you're like, ooh, that's when you're like, I gotta really work on my writing.
Yeah, from back then.
Yeah, from back then, right? And she prepared her art, like she prepared that. And so you think about that, like, okay, so when we all have to leave this earth, what is my work gonna say about me? Like, have I written that piece yet? Which I'm still trying to write. And she was using her last days to write and show that life of it, where Malcolm Jamal Warner did not know his time was coming, was on vacation, self-care with his daughter, his family. And so does he know what his legacy is? And it's beautiful because you see all these photos. I have numerous photos with him. Everybody has all these photos. So he was in the culture. Both of these two people were in the culture and love in different aspects, but one was preparing theirs, the other one didn't know. And so, yeah, I think about when I go, did I write that art? Did I create my legacy? Will my peers really have that poem? Did I get those pictures? Like, I don't even know if you and I have a photo, and it doesn't matter because we have these discussions. Right. We're so much like, hey man, love whatever and keep it going. But do we have these memories, these photos and all that? Because I'm the person, as you know, I'm in and out of venues. Yeah, I don't really hang out.
Right, no, I feel you.
Exactly. Yeah, and you are too. You're like, I gotta go. Yep. And that's how we are one way or another. Work, children, life, energy. Like, I'm really big on energy, so I don't want to be hanging around everyone.
Very true.
Yeah, and so, you know, do I have these moments? Did I leave this legacy? So I think about those two individuals, those two great individuals who I've come across or had shows with. Like, did I create that art? Yeah. That's that legacy.
Yeah. I mean, that's so real, man. I think, you know, even with Malcolm Jamal, it's like, and the thing is that, like, so much of the world, if you're not in the poetry community, so much of the world don't know that this whole side of him. You know what I mean? It's like Andrea was like, that's what she was. But he was so many things and this thing. And so I don't, you know, for me, it's just a shame that like folks didn't know how much he loved that craft.
And he worked hard at it, because at first, I'm not gonna lie, I looked at it like, I don't know.
You and me both.
Yeah, let's just be honest. A lot of us are like, I don't know, because we love this art and we worked hard at it. But I watched him really work and become an artist. And so that's the respect that a lot of us have, because a lot of us watched it. Queen Sheba watched it. All these individuals, Talame, they wouldn't just be saying rest, especially those two individuals, right. Myself and you, we wouldn't just be saying, God bless the dead and rest in peace, if he doesn't really love in this craft.
Right. If they were just taking, you know what I mean? It would have been like, oh, sorry for your life. But like, you know, how it's impacting people. And,
he would have been in a Hulk Hogan box.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, that's the real of it.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's really, I think a lot of folks, if, you know, it's really changing the way that we should walk through this. And I'm not saying that, like, this is not me saying people change your lifestyle, but like this is important. You know what I mean? Like we're not guaranteed. And what's the legacy you want to, I mean, that's the reason why I wrote a book in the first place, even before I had a kid, because I was like, I need to chronicle something that I can leave behind when I do have that child. So I think it's so important. But sort of going to that and sort of what folks do, there was the fiveology, the fiveology era.
My brothers.
You don't have to bring that up. So
Yeah.
for the folks on the, folks on the call that are on the listening now, or listen later on, there's a lot of, you may hear people joking like these guys were like the new edition of poetry or whatever the case may be. However you see it, what these folks, what you guys did for poetry hadn't been done, and I think you definitely shifted the way that people see poetry, but also the spaces that poetry were in. And I think a lot of where we are today is part and parcel to the spaces that you guys inhabited. But I know you've probably gone over this a couple of times, but for the audience, I'd love to know a little bit about, like, how did you get involved in this group? Like, first, because I want it in your words, like what is fiveology? How did you get involved? Before you do it though, I did my chat GPT thing and said, who is fiveology? This is what it said. It was a spoken word poetry collective made up of 5 prominent poets: Jay Ivy, Rudy Francisco, Prentice Powell, Shawn William, and Brandon Lee.
Well, one, I love that Javon got slided out. I was hoping Javon gonna go crazy off of that, because I'm gonna hit up the group chat. That's wild.
That was crazy. And so I was like, okay, let me, I want it to show in words, like, to talk to folks about what it, because it's such an integral part of, I think, the spoken word history, that I'd love to hear you talk about sort of what it was and how you got involved.
Fiveology is one of the greatest spoken word experiences of my life. Those are my brothers, not just on stage, off stage. The group chat is crazy. Hopefully it'll never get leaked. But
Facts.
5 amazing brothers. And it's like, there's numerous stories, but my story is, it started with Twitter. There was a show, matter of fact, going back, there was a show in Las Vegas, and I forgot the brother's name.
So you said about a picture. That's the one picture you and I have together, and I can't find it. Is that show?
That's right.
That show.
Yeah, so there was a show in Vegas, and that show took us to a show in the Palms Hotel, and I think it was Rudy and I that were featured that spot. And it was my first time really getting to know Rudy, because all I knew of Rudy was just, he was a dope poet. But Rudy is the type of person, as big as he is, he'll be in a corner too. I'll be in one corner, he'll be in the other corner. And until it's time to sell books or go on stage, you don't really see too much of Rudy, which I always loved about him. And the following month, because it was a monthly event, the following month, I believe it was Andrew and Prentice that did something. And so we were on Twitter just messing around, and was like, hey, we should create a super group and call it N-Word Sync. And True Edition, like, we was throwing big, fool. All these individuals are foolish. And so we were being on there, and then all of a sudden, Javon got tagged. And so it just became something. And then later on, Saint and I, shout out to Lim, Saint, dope poet. We started talking, because we had venues, talking about collaborating and bringing something together. There was the West Coast Regional down at DPL, and we were still talking, and we did a show, or after the West Coast Regional, all 5 of us got on stage and we threw up the 5s, and everybody was taking pictures and all that. And that's when we were like, ooh, this might really be something. From there, we threw a show together. We wrote group pieces. We went through a serious boot camp. It was the first time that I wrote something I thought was dope, and they're like, rewrite it. And that felt good. We wrote group pieces, did a show. Javon being a visionary, all of us one way or another being visionary, Javon being a visionary, working for Versus and Flow, told two representatives from Versus and Flow to come to this show. They saw it, they were like, oh, this is nice. They talked to their heads up. We went down to LA, did something. They were like, that's nice. We get an email like, hey, you want to go on tour with Jill Scott? Sure.
Why not?
And the rest is history. So it was just an amazing thing with 5 phenomenal writers, and the individuals, not Jay Ivy, it's Andrew Tyree, it's not Brandon Lee. Shout out to those brothers. It's Dr. Javon Johnson. And what makes it dope is that you have 5 Black men from all different experiences, different voices, different heights, doctors. I didn't know at that time that Rudy was from Belize. So the stories that we had off stage and these poets who are headliners in their ways had to now play as a team and know their roles. And, you had to put egos to the side and all that. There was more love than fighting, but there was fighting because we were brothers. And it was just a great experience, and it's still a great experience. So shout out to all 4 of them. And Prentice was Bobby Brown.
I love it. It's like from the outside, watching all of this happen, like knowing all of you brothers individually, and then watching this happen was like an incredible piece. And then it was also, I think during the time I was it's part of that I was in the UK. And so then watching it from there happen as well, and just like pointing to people in the UK to be like, look, this is what this could be. This is what brotherhood looks like. This is like the other place that you can take poetry. It's not this, it can be this individualistic thing, but it also can be this, it can be Wu-Tang. So
exactly.
It's Wu-Tang. So I loved it. So with all of that, I'm sure there's like, you've got individual, like memorable moments with that collective, but what is your proudest moment within that group for the craft? Hopefully that makes sense with this collective, right? Because I could come and ask you like, what was your best moment? And that could be a number of things. But when you think of like the group and what you've accomplished, like what's the proudest moment that you have from being with the group?
I think the proudest moment is knowing that the proudest moment for me, and just even with the craft, is we were doing the festival out in Chicago, and that evening Mike Brown's verdict was done, right? Mm-hmm. And we had this set already, the order and all that, and they cut our set. Our set was normally like 15 minutes, and for some reason they cut our set to like 6. So as a poet, you got 5 of us, so how are we gonna put all this together? And we were already feeling away after the Mike Brown verdict, like they weren't going to take it to, the grand jury just said dismissed it and all that. And I suggested Javon doing his poem Because He's Black. Yeah. And that wasn't in the set list. Right. And everybody was with it. There was no egos involved with all that. This is really important moment. We know we're supposed to entertain, but as spoken word artists, we're supposed to put these words out here, especially 5 Black men. Right. And seeing 4 other individuals, because we all have egos, put egos to the side, like I was saying earlier, for Javon to go up and do this very important poem, which was our last poem. That's how we're going out. This is our statement in Chicago during this time to go out and see, like Javon is an amazing writer, an amazing performer, but there was no performance that night. It was just the Javon a lot of us don't get to know, the human side of Javon that you don't get to know. So that just watching that experience and us being there as brothers, not, doing it for looks, but really being there and holding each other down because it was a rough time. That was a great experience for the art, because you could see Black men loving each other, being there for each other when there's so many things in Chicago where it's always used as Chicago violence and Black on Black. There was Black men from in Chicago saying these Black stories and being behind this person who was saying this amazing poem. And that's one of my memories, and I feel that was great for the art. for art, not just Black art, but just art in general, because it was just an amazing time.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think, I mean, there's so much to say about that. We're gonna get to your book. Definitely, we're gonna get to the
Oh
book.
yeah.
So much that that just when what you said, that just in there's so many things that opens up. Um, as poets and being like before, like documentarians, like I was always told, my daughter, yes, look, you can read the history books that they tell you in school, but go read the poets and the painters, and because they're telling you what there's no hidden agenda. They're talking about what they're actually seeing. So if you want to
Yes.
know what's actually happening, look to the artists of the time and do it. So it's like you saying that sort of brought up that thing for me. And then, the last thing before we jump off this topic, and like anyone who is listening, especially the younger folks coming up into this art form, like listen when Shawn said, like, you had all of these individual artists that were known and legends in their own right. They still had to get together and workshop and create new pieces and figure out how things need to work. Like it's a craft, and as much as social media and AI will make it seem very easy, like it's a craft. And
Rudy Francisco didn't need to have fiveology.
right.
Javon Johnson doesn't need fiveology. I didn't need it. I didn't even really want it at first until I found out what the Brotherhood was, and I found out I did need it. All these individuals are doing, like, Andrew's on some daytime TV stuff in Atlanta. Like, these are great individuals regardless. And for us, and Prentice be viral everywhere, and it's just like, without fiveology, there wouldn't be For Your Consideration that went Grammy. Because there was a lot of fiveology influence, but also love behind that. Shout out to Shehan, too. That was a silent member of fiveology that gave us feedback and helped us as well. Like, fiveology, even if it wasn't five, it was a team of individuals that believed in us. Shout out to Walt Isaacs and all of them, Versus and Flow, all that.
That's what's up. Y'all need to also check out Shehan. Shehan does so many things behind the scenes that folks do not know about. So shout out to Shehan.
Definitely. That's going to be something I'm always going to do. I got the book, but these things helped me write the book. If I did not be around, I'm going to always, one of my favorite players is Magic Johnson and Penny, because they were great facilitators. I'm one of the greatest facilitators. I always give respect and props to the individuals that help me. And I call Shehan at least once a month, like, hey man, let me run this by you.
Right. Yes. I love it. And just bridging these folks up, it's the cool herc. You know what I mean? It's the cool herc.
Exactly.
So which is great, because then you jump right into For Your Consideration, this recent collaboration with Prentice that got you this Grammy nomination. Out of every, how did that even come about?
Prentice it came from Prentice, but Prentice is one of the most young-spirited individuals. If you do not know Prentice Powell, like, you really need to just be around him, because he's a kid at heart. And he just called me with Bay slang. Hey, blood, let's get a Grammy. Yeah. That's how the phone conversation went. Hey, blood, let's get a Grammy.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And what's great about Prentice is Prentice doesn't care how, he just believes putting words in the air that it'll happen. And our bond is so great, because I'm like, okay, we got to plan with it. I'm a planning type person to get there. He's just put the words out in the air. We combine that, and you've put an album together. I'm the type of person so cerebral. Like, we've got 2 months to put an album together with 2 individuals. It can't happen. Like, concepts and all this type of stuff. And so Prentice is like, I don't want to hear can't. And I'm like, I can't think. It takes me months to put an album by myself. So us to do it. So after we figured it out, I was like, let's just do a live album. And so to the individual, we teamed up, because this other person is Grammy-nominated and part of our team. His name is Matt. He was our videographer. We went to a place called M2 in Oakland, owned by Christopher Shaw and my cousin Jeff. We put mics. We had like 10 mics. We were mic'd up, put mics all around the crowd, and we did an album in one take. Like, there was no edits. There was no second. One take, a whole album live. We tried to do it we thought about Richard Pryor. We thought about, all these live albums. And we wanted that crowd reaction. We thought about New York, we thought about DPL, we thought about the Oakland Slam, that reaction. We wanted to make sure we invited people. We did not know who was going to come. The place was packed out, and we did a live album that was Grammy nominated in one take. That in itself is amazing. If anybody who does spoken word to do something in one take. We got it packaged. I'm thinking like, I don't want to do something as a poet. I want to do something as an artist. So if you think about how the clips is rolling out, our rollout, we had videos, we went on tour, we did everything like an artist to do it, and we got nominated, and it was a beautiful experience. Shout out to Prentice, shout out to my brother Prentice, shout out to Matt, shout out to everybody who was with it, but that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. Look, man, I like props to you both, props to the whole team.
Grammy nominated.
You know what I'm saying? I saw that in the back. I was like, oh, that's right, boy. Talk your shit. Like, I was like, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, because just, again, being in the back, watching all of this happen, and then being like, really? Like, this close? And then the stuff started rolling out. And I was like, okay, prep. Like, you don't got to be ready if you're ready. And so, I know it. I mean, like you said, I mean, I didn't know, I hadn't been in the Bay as long, but I remember meeting Prentice years ago, dude. I don't even remember where I was because I didn't know California at the time. And I remember this kid getting on the mic, and I was like, oh, I see him. Because it was this, like I said, it was like the words were just, it was the energy. He was like he was living the words, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this kid. And then and then to see it now is just it's an incredible thing to do, as well as what you guys are doing, you know, from a mental health perspective and all of that kind of. God, there's so much to talk to you about. Anyway, so props number one on the Grammy, all the work. And again, I go back to folks, this is work, right? This didn't just happen. This is not like, oh, I wrote 2 poems and now I got a Grammy. It ain't like that. As many as much as social media may make you think that, there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes, and Shawn is testimony to that.
And having trust with your brother, like, it's tough going one take by yourself, but you got to trust somebody else to make sure that they're on take, and both of us push each other, and that comes back to the 5-ology or just whatever. We push each other to be great.
I love it. I love it. I want to give you some time to read, man. So we got like 15 minutes for you to read, but I do have one question for you beforehand, and I'll probably ask a couple questions after. But you know, when you think about like a North Star for like what you want out of your career, and I guess we might have touched on it a little bit when you said, you know, sort of thinking about that legacy to leave behind. But when you think about like, what am I aspiring to with this craft, and as all of it wrapped up, as a Black man, as a father, like what's the thing that you're aspiring to?
I'm working on it. Of course, the poem, whenever that's written, that poem that just defines me, but also more importantly, that when I am dust and gone, my son is just like, both of them, Trey and Lanks, is like, man, he did it. And what's dope, what's happening now is, especially when the pandemic happened, I was working in corporate America, so I was working at home. My son saw my grind. So he was watching books being typed up. He was watching me doing emails or Zoom calls with me. So he's seeing all this, and him understanding now where it's like, I didn't know so-and-so followed you, because he thinks his dad is his dad, right? A square, until he starts seeing certain individuals follow. I didn't know that you had this many subscribers, you had this many views, because these kids know about views and subs and all that. Yeah. And he's seeing that. So I guess the North Star would be like, I'm gone, but my son could see that I was more than just a father, and I was a great father, not just doing these great poems, but a lot of my poems are incorporating him, incorporating family now, and he gets to see that. Like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's like, we cool now.
Yeah.
I'm not cool. And then I may be cool for another minute later.
Right.
And then, so,
right. And then, you know, Kai Cenat goes back on, and then I lost.
I'm gone. It's done. Like, you know, I love it. So look, this new collection that you have, Tall, Dark, and Healing. We'll talk a little bit about it, but I want to give you 12, 15 minutes. Like I want folks to be able to hear the work. So it's all you to kind of share some of this work with us.
So Tall, Dark, and Healing. Shout out to Right About Now, Juan Poetry. They reached out to me and was like, "Hey, we would like to publish a couple of your books." I thought it was dope. If you don't know about Juan Poetry right now, to me, Juan Poetry is the deaf poetry and verses and flow in this social media time, since we don't have those platforms. They have over 700,000 followers on IG and a bunch of followers. And so this is how we get our work on huge platforms for the world to see, since we don't have deaf poetry, verses and flow, all those types of things. Shout out to Chibi and Amir, just to help me get on these platforms, publish my book, put me out on bigger platforms. And the way the book came out, got out of, just like a lot of books, I got out of a relationship. The following day, I got in a car accident. And they took me to Highland Hospital, and my big self, I'm 6'5", I was laying on an emergency table that was small as hell. The room was dark. I'm a type of person that goes over and reflects how my life is and what mistakes I've made, what positive things. So I was in this dark room, in a dark place, healing, and my tall self was on this bed that I wasn't fitting in. It was just like, you know what? I'm tall, dark, and healing. And it just made me reflect on relationships in general, not just love relationships, friend relationships, family relationships. And I just wanted to put it together in a couple of series of books. This was the first series. A couple more are going to come out. And I just wanted to speak on that. And it's a play off of Tall, Dark, and Handsome. But the healing part is more important. Like handsome is like, okay, I look good, but how do I look inside? So what's that healing process look like? And I wanted to speak on that. The poems, women think that I buy them shoes to spoil them, but I buy them to replace the old ones for all the stains from the eggshells I make them walk on. I told you that I wasn't a picnic. You should background check on my breakups. I'm a vampire who writes "I'm sorry" notes in cursive in front of mirrors, unable to see my wrongs or reflections. So if I can't see me, how in the hell do you think that I can see you and I together, baby? This has nothing to do about the excess weight that you put on by carrying my burdens. I was just waiting for the right time to break your heart, which is normally around the time that you are really trying to give your heart to me. And after all these years of hurting women, you think that I'd be praying for forgiveness, but I was just waiting for my next prey. And she's probably that bad, fine-ass individual who hasn't had her father in her life long enough to warn her about a man like me. Hi, you don't need to know my name, because we won't be together long enough for you to curse it. That is one. Another. My artistry is at its best when I'm heartbroken. When most men close themselves off to the world, I too love and love. I love, I love, love, I love, love, I love, love, but I also share the pain and love pain. I open up my notebook to create. I used to hate every woman for how they made me feel, but now I thank them, embrace the pain more than I embrace their wants and needs. My favorite sayings are "then let go," or "this isn't working." Quit to quick. I'm quick to quit the job, then put myself in full-time hours. Why continue to water flowers when they're bound to die anyway? Just buy new ones. Every time it's springtime, you will always see me with the new girl sprung, nose wide open like legs. But I'm not a misogynist, I'm a masochist. Kiss the girl, then make them cry. My "I love you" sound just like my goodbyes. I take pleasure in pain and suffering, from my heart, from my love, from my son, from my art. It's my cross to bear. And didn't Jesus suffer on his for our sins? My sins is that I constantly confuse loyalty with love, attract shorter women with my height, knowing that they'll never reach my high expectations. I am me, all of me, Forever Me. The last one, get the book. I've really put in work on this. I truly appreciate the work that Right About Now has put in, so we collaborated on it. It is something that my friends have given me good feedback on. Other people have given me. I stand by this book. The last one is going to be in my next book. I want to read this one real quick, and then we can get back to the interview. My father is so Southern, and he says the most Southern things like, boy, you don't believe fat meat is greasy, or boy, don't have your mouth write a check that your behind can't cash. I'm a grown-ass man, and my father still calls me boy, like, boy, if you're feeling froggy, then leap, or boy, a hard head makes a soft behind, and his favorite Black saying is, boy, I forgot more than you'll ever know. My father's dementia is getting worse. He often gets confused about day and time. Some days when we talk, he repeats himself, starting the same conversation over and over again. And I just go along because our conversations are more valuable than corrections. My father is not only the strongest man that I've ever known, but also the smartest. He's a god to me. His answers, us mere mortals, would need pen, paper, and Google. My father was not only my map, he was my Google. A search engine that is now having problems searching for information. His engine is not starting up like it used to. Pistons not firing, which makes him frustrated, pissed, but he's still able to fire off those Southern sayings like, boy, I forgot more than you'll ever know, like birthdays, graduations, names. During these times of calling me boy, he's not giving me a hard time. He's just having a hard time remembering things. But Pop, I hope that you forget all my fuck ups. Those bad report cards and principals meetings, the time I took the car, crashed and parked it, Nana's funeral, or your best friend's Parkinson. Boy, your mother will be home soon, and you know she's always spending my money. Mind you, mother died 2 years ago, and I know I'm supposed to remind him, but losing your wife and your mind is a lot to remind a proud man from the South. Plus, a child's place is to be seen, not heard. Another one of my father's favorite sayings, like, boy, I forgot more than you, boy. I forgot more than you, boy. What is your name? I forgot. Shawn, Pops. Shawn, your son. Remember we talked last week about me being nominated for a Grammy? You were? For what? Spoken word poetry, Pops. Oh, okay. Because I know it wasn't for singing, because you can't sing, I know that. How's that boy of yours? He's getting so big, looking just like you. He's doing great, Pops. I'm glad that you remember. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. I appreciate that. What that last one hit me. But yeah, man, I love the fact that, like, and one of the things I don't think I got the opportunity to tell you, but like the work that you put out is it's so raw and relatable. You know, I don't like I gotta dig through. It's like Eclipse. Keep going back to that. Like I gotta dig through it because there's stuff behind it. You know what I mean? But it lands real familiar, which is it's consumable, and I love that. Um, you know, this work, it's I was looking at some of the reviews, and it went from everything from a conversation in book form, emphasizing that poems read like a friend holding you accountable while reminding you of your worth, to this book made me want to pleasure myself, curse my ex out, and believe in love again. I love the dichotomy between the two. Like, so what was like sort of when you were thinking, I know you were sort of in this space and saying, okay, look, let me look at this healing um in this book, but like was there a particular audience in mind when you were like thinking about putting this collection together, or was it just like, I'm gonna put this book together and I'm gonna put it out in the world?
My sons, my exes, that was more the audience of just seeing that, you know, I've been put in, sometimes us men have been put as fathers or whatever, husbands, as supermen. And I'm not. I'm 6'5" and I could do all these super type things, but I'm not. I'm human. I want to go down this path of showing my vulnerability, my faults, even my ugliness, of just putting that out there and showing that I was this person individually. Because sometimes, you know, we get behind these characters. Some of us get behind these characters as spoken word artists, and what we live on the stage, we're not living in real life, or we don't want to talk about what's happening in real life on stage. And I just wouldn't be a great artist if I wrote a whole bunch of battery pieces and didn't talk about what charged me inside, or didn't charge me inside. And so I just wanted the people who know me, as I thought about them as my audience, but also my own healing process is myself as the audience. And would I be proud of this book? Would I look at it 10 years from now and be embarrassed? And I don't feel I would. This is me, and I feel good about this.
I love that, man. I think, you know, we were talking about Andrea Gibson before, and some of the work that she was doing when she was in the mindset of knowing, you know, that potentially there was an end in in sight, you know. And you talk about, and you also talked about sort of, you know, I didn't want to be doing poems, you know, I didn't want to be doing a bunch of battery, right? But so to me, that talks about like growth and
Yeah.
sort of, when did that change? Or like, when did you know that that changed? Because I mean, as artists, we go out there. I mean, I've sat in a spot and was like, I wrote this poem because I'm gonna read it, and then someone gets on stage and does this dope poem, and the audience is like crazy, and I'm like, oh wait, I could do that, you know. And it's like all of it. So like, when did that part change for you, when you said, okay, look, I don't want to write, you know, for lack of a better word, the bangers. I need to hit this space. When did that happen?
Numerous times, and it continues on. So let's say marriage, you all of a sudden start making that change. Birth of a child, being a stepfather, fiveology, life's lessons, like all those things started making where it's like, okay, I want to start shifting because my life is shifting. I want my writing to shift. Look, batteries is over 20 years old. I did batteries in a show and it did really well. And it's always amazing that batteries that's so old can continue on. And shout out to individuals like Black Chakra that make those type of poems that can make it go on. But to me, I could write 50 million batteries. They're not hard.
Right.
They're hard poems, but let's just be honest, they're not hard. And there's no shot towards shot. Black Chakra is amazing. But for me, what else? What is Shawn? That's another reason why I went from inner city to Shawn. What is Shawn feeling? What is he writing? What is Shawn the father? Like batteries can include my sons, but that's not really talking about them. Can I perform batteries while I have a father who is going through this and I lost my mother 2 years ago? Like, what are those things? And I needed to write on that for my own healing.
Yeah. Dude, that is so real. Because I remember this whole having these conversations, and I remember in the New Yo and just having this conversation over time, you know, with like, what's your poetry name? And I was like, I don't know that I want to, and this is again, no knock to anyone that has a poetry name, because Sasha Fierce, like sometimes you need to create.
Yeah, you need that alien.
You need to go in there. But I was always like, at the point in which I get to that click point where you said, like, I don't want folks listening to, oh, this is what happened to, you know, Black Listen Difference father. You know what I mean? It's like, this is what happened to Shaka's father. You know what I mean? And so that was it, but it was hard, you know, because it's like, this is the space where everyone, you know, everyone has a name, or like you said, you have your battery poem and you know it kills, you know, and especially in this age of social media and all that, it's like you want that kill thing that's going to get you those views. But I think, like you said, is these life changes, right? That you're like, okay, I need to hit these things differently from a different kind of angle. you
And
know?
I just couldn't be inner city in fiveology. Like that's the change. Like inner city died when fiveology was born. I
Yeah,
stopped.
that's what's up. Okay, I get that. I get that. That makes a lot of sense. Um, you know, we've touched intermittently on some of the mental health. I've seen the work that you and Prentice do out there in this world. You know, around that. And this is I'm going to steal this question from another sort of a mental health podcast I was on, and the question was if there's one thing that you could say to women about men's health, what would that be?
Like really think about if you create a safe space.
Mm.
Um, I can tell you so many stories about non-safe spaces. And it's not a knock on women, because I think misogyny, women don't know how to create safe spaces because how they were taught not to, right? Or what they think a safe space is, but it really isn't. But I would just say, like, if you have somebody, it doesn't have to be your boyfriend, it could be your brother, your father, your uncle, your cousin. Like, be a safe space, because it's so tough. Like, we have to be Superman. There's so much war outside. I'm so far away from the East Oakland life, and my life can still be affected by East Oakland or Oakland at any moment.
Yep.
So when I come in the house, if a woman I'm with can provide that space, not expect me to be Superman, all that, and just provide a safe space, be a safe space, it's so important. That is so important.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I think you know, and for folks who don't know, um, Shawn has this poem that probably has like 8 billion views by now, about like sort of God, I forget the name of it. That comes off my
Just tired.
the tired. There it is.
Yeah.
And you have to listen to this poem. It hits on so many different levels, and um, it's so pure, right? It's like I don't, at least I feel when I listen to it, it's like there's no thing behind it. Like I'm just telling you, you know what I mean? It's like I'm just talking to you. Like trust. If he says he's okay, he's probably not okay.
Yeah. Because that's the quick thing. Like, hey man, how you doing? I'm good. It's like,
Yeah.
and we just keep it moving off of that because that's the standard answer. But a lot of times we're not.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you just and it's so real because when we first got on the phone and you said to me like, "What's good? How you doing?" And I'm just like, my first instinct was to be like, "I'm gravy." It's like, dude, your dad just passed away. Like, you can't,
Exactly right.
you know?
There's no way. If you are, like, then you're not good even there. Like, what do you mean you're great? But
Exactly.
that's our initial thing of just, I'm good on all these things. That's why I was like, right now, today, I'm good.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's all I can speak on right now.
yeah, 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 yeah. I think, you know, to your point, we'll talk about this as well, you know, when you then become a father as well, there's this other fake or not, warranted or not, there's this other thing that comes to like, I gotta be good,
Yeah.
right? Well, I don't have a choice, you know what I mean? And so,
And we learned that from our fathers, our grandfathers, and all that, not knowing that they dying inside and weren't able to say that. Like, yeah, nah, we got to break all that. And the strongest thing that you could say is that I'm not okay. It's not a sign of weakness.
so that's so facts, man. It's like, and that all that, all that swallowing caused them to do other shit that they probably wasn't supposed to do,
Exactly.
you know?
Drinking, smoking, whatever. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Stress.
Is great. That's a whole nother me and you BBB that we got to touch on because, you know, again, just mental health as a whole, men's mental health on top of that, Black men's mental health on top of that. You know what I mean? I think there's just so many dimensions to it.
And the last thing, just Black men dealing with a divorce, dealing with heartache. The first, like, I'm good, keep it moving, get into another relationship or go down this ugly path of hating women or being like sexist and having a whole bunch of partners. All those things, like the divorce that I had, when I get in love, I'm in it. And you've seen me, like, I'm in it. I embrace everything. So when you lose, I don't just lose a mother of my child or, you know, I lose a best friend. That's my friend. And so do men know how to lose a wife and a friend? And what are you doing? Are you drinking? Are you just going back trying to find another woman? Are you overcompensating? All those things. We don't have those conversations. It's not like, hey, Tshaka, come through. Let's watch some movies and talk about love and heartache. We don't have those discussions, and we should.
Right.
There's no men's brunches, and that's something I'm trying to work on men's brunches of us just having fellowship. Because women will go off to the saloon. They have yoga camps and all these other things, and we need those types of things too, and not look zesty or saying we zesty or soft.
Right. Yeah. No facts. I mean, and that's part of why I loved the whole concept of fiveology. You know what I mean? Just because you're there, you're in that space. And I'm lucky enough to also have some brothers that I chat to that we grew up. But even there, you know what I mean? It's like I call it the yo response. When you get off the phone and someone's saying like, love you. And I'm like, yeah, love you.
Right.
It's like, I can't even go that far.
Right.
It's like, but I'm feeling it, you know? So
sometimes love you, huh? We heard it.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right back at you. You know what I'm saying? What is your favorite word?
Today, writer. Like my favorite word is writer. They're so like we're so dope, and I'm still striving to be. I know I've written some amazing things, but a writer is just amazing. I'm seeing Mike in the chat and Donnie. Those are some effing writers. Like I love writers. So my word of the day is just writer.
I love it. I love it. I mean, it's like, and I love that you said, like, you're giving yourself props. And I think, and this may be my own shit to deal with, but it's like, folks have been doing it, just like you said, the two that are in the chat right now. It's like, we've worked at this craft, you've done things at this craft, but it's so hard to then be like, oh no, but I do good. Like I've done this, or I'm dope. That's why, you know, again, I haven't met Black Chakra, but that poem, I'm dope, right? I mean, the poem itself is dope. But just the idea to be able to give your permission to be like, yeah, I'm the shit, and then be in front of the stage and tell people that, like, that cracked something open, you know, in me when I heard that piece. So props out there to Black Chakra on that piece. What do you do to unplug, to just like let loose?
I create spaces where it's just I turn off the TV, I turn off my phone, I just relax. I have a record player. I'll play some Marvin, some Donnie, it just sit. I'm not trying to write any poems. I'm just sitting and just enjoying the space. I am now an avid wine drinker. My space has a big bathtub, so I could get in a big bathtub and relax. Like I do the can. I'm really learning how to just heal myself in so many ways. So I'm plugged from social media. I'm not being petty on social media at that moment. I'm just relaxing. Also, just another form of relaxing is watching my son and playing with him and just hearing his laughter. And he knows I'm always serious at so many times. He just does things to try to make me laugh, which is just amazing. So that's unwinding time. Again, it's getting away from social media, getting away from myself, getting away from all the other stuff, and just being.
Yeah, I love it. There's that. And again, I think there's so much of the stuff that we're sort of parallel on. I remember that point in which my daughter, like she was old enough to get the personality, and when you see the personality, and then you're like, okay, I know who she is now, right?
Yes,
who she is now.
It's amazing when you see it.
Man, it's crazy. Like she, you know, as I'm sure, like what I've seen with Langston doing is like they won't let you go. Like you gonna come at them, they gonna come at you. You know,
yep.
It's an amazing thing to see, and to see and I love that you share that as well on social media, so folks can see that and just see that, like, you know, there are Black fathers that are there.
Yeah, we're here. We are here,
and we're engaged. We're not here. You know what I mean?
Like I'll see some of us out there, and I'll be like,
yeah, exactly. I stopped the other day. It's so stupid. My wife was in the car, and she was like, "Why are you slowing down?" I was like, "You see him pushing that with his daughter on that bike thing with the pushing thing?" And I was like, "I gotta give him props. Like, I don't care that there's traffic's behind me. You know what I mean?" And it's like,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing to see, because, and again, not like you don't see it, but it's not projected out in the world.
And now we're seeing it more, and I just love it.
It's fantastic. Um, your book, the new book, if it was a person, a musician, or an actor, any one of those, who would it be?
Person, musician, actor. It would be Here, My Dear, Marvin Gaye's album.
Mm,
It would conjure those things like, all right, here,
I love it. I love it. Um,
court sanctioned.
exactly. Exactly. Just read this book with a glass of wine. You know what I mean? You need to go with it. If you when you were writing this and you putting this book together, did anything pop up, or did you uncover anything that you weren't aware of that surprised you when you were putting this book together?
um, I'm understanding love different. Like I've used love wrong. I've used love what I thought love was. Um, I don't love like that anymore. Um, Love is different for me, and love is different from age. One, I'll say this, and I'm working these things out as well. My son, Trey, that was my stepson, but I never call him stepson, and Langston, two different loves. Langston, me being adopted, Langston's the first time I got to see myself within myself.
Mm,
So this is the first time I'm able to love myself because I'm seeing myself for the first time.
wow.
Because I can't say I saw, like I have my mother's know, I don't know my biological parents, my grandparents, my brothers, sisters.
Yeah.
So now that I see Langston, and Langston's the first person to say that I love you that looks like me, because that's so important. Now I'm able to say love differently because now I'm more grounded in me. Langston has taught me to be me. And
Wow.
so I love differently.
Yeah.
Not saying that I didn't mean it, I just mean it differently. And I understand because I'm loving myself more through my son. So rewriting the book and growing with some of these are older poems that I'm putting in the book. I'm like, oh, I love differently. I see love differently. So it's almost like Biggie's album where his voice was changing. It was because it was a year and a half before, and then
Yeah.
same thing. It's just growth.
I never thought about that before, dude. That's crazy. That's crazy. And folks, another reason to get this book is like you're seeing transformation happen, which I think is incredible. If you weren't a poet, who would you be? What would you be?
Either I'd be in banking, corporate America, angry that I don't have any art and being there for 35 years and complaining, or a filmmaker, because I believe those moments with my mother, some way or another, artistry would happen. So a musician, some
Mhm.
way or another, the way that my parents put together artistry around me. Like there was a piano, there was trumpets, there's all this music taking me places, showing me so much things of art. And my father being an entrepreneur, one way or another, I'd be in these spaces being interviewed off of something of art.
I love that. I love that. You can't. I mean, it's gonna come out somewhere.
Yeah, one way or another.
Yeah, exactly. Where does Oakland show up in your work?
And
Because I know you
everything
are like Oakland through and through. Like, where does that show up in your work?
and everything that I do, if it's not hyphy, if it's not Black Panther movement, if it's not just the blackness of it, sideshows in my poems, like somewhere or another, you will get Oakland. People, anybody who says, "Are you from the Bay?" Like, I'll have individuals coming from the Bay, give it up for Shawn William. I'll go up there, thank you very much, I'm from Oakland. It's like an individual from Brooklyn. Don't say they from New
Oh,
York.
yeah. It's a different country. Stop saying
Exactly. And I'm like, I'm not from the Bay. It is ingrained in me. My mother and father went to school out here. It's just so much. I fight to stay here because they don't want me here. They don't want this type of Oakland here, the arts way, the person who speaks. My sister went to Black Panther lunches and breakfast programs. I'm from that.
Yeah.
I have relatives who are on the Oakland Raiders. I was a ball boy for the Warriors. Like I am ingrained in this community one way or another. So it just comes out in my work. It comes out in my walk. Comes out on how I interact with, how I do business. There was a revolutionary part of that as well. So yeah, all that is in me.
Hmm. There's a question from Rob that's in there. It was like, more information on hyphy. What is that?
Hyphy is, in one term, it's just like this hyperactive thing, but in realistic times, and shout out to Fab and other individuals who push the movement. Honestly, it's crack babies that were hyperactive and still found ways to express themselves.
Wow.
That's really what hyphy is. It's a, we're doing all this, but really it's if they were hyperactive crack babies coming from the 80s and 90s.
Oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Like, if you see somebody jumping on the car riding outside, you're like, what the hell is it? Yeah. Hyperactive crack babies. Like, it's just the lifestyle that we still can't. Another way of we've coming from struggle and still surviving.
Yeah. You got fire release.
Yeah.
Fire release. All right, just have a couple more questions before we wrap it up. I have this piece that I call it the Who Dat section. So you're in an elevator, you're stuck in an elevator for 3 hours, but you can choose whether it be past or present. You can choose 3 people that are in that elevator with you. So you're gonna be in there for 3 hours, can't do nothing in that elevator. Who would be those 3 people and why?
Malcolm X, and my discussion would be that, how did you feel? Like, how did you really feel? It was documented, but how did you really feel when you found out that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, like, I want to have that discussion. Like, how did you really feel? So he'd be there. Second person, we're just going to keep, I love Marvin Gaye. So I would just want to talk to Marvin and just pick his mind of, like, one of my favorite Marvin Gaye, and I wasn't even really around during that time, but something about when Marvin Gaye was laying on that couch, that old black couch, and singing I Want You, and with the band, and he just sounded so amazing, and he was just laying down in the wrong position and just singing beautifully, so it'd be him. And then Apollonia, because, Apollonia. So I wanted, like,
for y'all that don't know, you gotta go look. Your questions will be answered.
Apollonia.
I love it. That's what's up. There's a question from the audience about what do you feel about, what are your thoughts on poets using AI?
I get it, but I just don't like it. Right now, there's too many lazy poets in the first place. I've heard too many Rudy Franciscos, too many all these other individuals, so they're being lazy. I wish that you could perform. Like, I wish you could find your writing and your voice first, for a year or two before you use that, maybe for some references. But I'm a little afraid of the laziness that can come from it. I know that there's things that can help you find your voice, but I think you should find your voice first before AI and see is ChatGPT giving you that voice, because you're going to run with it and you're going to think that it works.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's so funny because, again, it goes back to what you talked about earlier, just in the terms of how it used to be with poetry in these communities. You get to see, like, even if, because of course you hear someone you like, even if you don't want to emulate them, a piece of that's going to come into you. But what you're emulating back in the day was not only the poem, but the person and how they carried themselves into space and blah, blah, blah. So, like, you had all of that to put in there, and I remember asking the same question about a year and a half ago, 2 years, and folks were just like, whatever, AI ain't never going to be able to write a poem like I can write. And I was like, okay, you wait.
Write a poem like Shawn William. They put one in, I'm like, whoa.
Right.
Some of this is real scary.
I've been like, yo, write this poem on this subject like Chuck. And I was like, oh.
It's scary. It's scary.
And so, like, yeah. So I get you. And I think, like, so maybe helping you put ideas together, because it's from one side of my, like, on Tshaka, weekday Tshaka, like, I'm into the AI and how that works in a corporate world, so I see where there are some positives in it. And then creative Tshaka is sort of like, I don't want you like chill, but, like, like you said, research. If I'm going to write something on a certain subject, I want to be able to research that and make it, you know what I mean? And it can help out there. But yeah, it's interesting to see what
I just don't want anybody having writer's block and be like, write a poem like Tshaka would or Shaka, and then they have their poem. That's and we know that there's people out there that would do that.
You know what's happening.
Yeah.
You know what's happening because, I mean, you don't got to prove it. You don't got to do the show. The advantage that I think some folks that have been in the craft for a while is like, you've seen work prior to AI, but someone can just pop up now and just like have this book and this book be like fire, and you not realize at the back end of that, that's everybody else's book.
Yep.
I mean, but it's the way the world is. I think it's the way the world is going, man. But my last set of questions for you. This is what I call quick fire, right? And it's
okay.
I've got a bunch of words that I'll go through, and I want you to just say the first word that comes to your mind, first word or two that come to your mind when you hear the word. So no, you don't have to pre-think it, whatever, and we'll just go from there. All right. First one, poetry.
Truth.
Black man.
Amazing.
Love.
Need.
Kendrick Lamar.
Fire.
Lineage.
Legacy.
Daughter.
Want.
Art.
Purpose.
Language.
Universal.
Angela Bassett.
Pioneer.
Blood.
Forgiveness.
Shakespeare.
Overrated.
Religion.
Overrated.
Loss.
Finding.
Mother.
Miss.
Oakland.
Home.
Stage.
Home.
Woman.
Home.
Black woman.
Home.
Obama.
2 words. Jackie Robinson.
Mm.
Sorry, I had.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Wife.
Looking.
Clips.
Important.
Fatherhood.
Journey.
Oh man, this has been absolutely incredible. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your words. I wanted to actually give you some more time to read the work, but then also I want folks to like get that teaser and like go get this work. And it's from I have to still get this book, and so it should be on its way to me. But from there's funny things when I look at the books that you put out, and then sometimes books that I see other people put out, and it's like, okay, there's stuff in here. And what I mean by that is not like, oh, now there's 78 poems in there versus 32. It's like there's content, and it's real content. And that goes back to what I said before about you writing that it resonates and it's consumable, which I love, and it reads the same way. So look, thank you for your art. Thank you for the love of this craft. Thank you for the years that you've put in, for all the connections you've made, for all the openings that you have brought to poets, for repping Oakland. I mean, I knew nothing about, I came here and moved to San Francisco and was like, I've heard about Oakland, but then like you meet people like you and hear like, no, this is underneath the concrete, you know what I mean? And what real Oakland is, and parts of the Bay. So appreciate you coming on the show.
I appreciate you and your staff, your team, to provide this platform. Thank you very much for you as a person. I don't fool with a lot of people who aren't real people off of the microphone. We've had a relationship dating all the way back to New York.
Yes,
my condolences to your family. You as a good individual. And again, support the book. It's out right about now. You can go, it's Tall, Dark, and Healing. Go to www.juan poetry.com. You can get the book. You're going to see me out in all these places. I'm back slamming. I'm on the road. I'm taking time to get outside more in the Bay Area instead of just all over the country. And yeah, I'm enjoying this journey.
Love it. I love it. Oh, I do have a question for you, and I forgot to ask this. Like, there was this move from corporate to say, I'm gonna do this full.
Woo!
Like, when did that, like, what made that happen, and how did that feel? And that'd be my question.
It goes back and forth. So I've done it twice where I'm like, I'm done with corporate. Yeah. And then I come back. I'm back in corporate. But it's this, one, you have so much art, and I know that you go through it as well. Like, you're around so many people who are just either miserable there and they don't want to tap into their talent, or they're afraid to tap into it. I had somebody last week, my manager's like, I want you to present something. How are you in front of people? And I just laugh, right? Because it's like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Because they don't know this secret society, right?
Right.
So it's the benefits of being out in the world and being an entrepreneur are important, but the benefits of where we are, the financial benefits, the medical benefits, because it's expensive, right? And then I have a son. So I need that backup income. And where you live and where I live, it's very expensive. If we were in Mississippi, we'd be rich. But, you know, here.
Exactly.
But, you know, we just have to make, I went back to corporate America, but it's a tough thing. And I'm looking on the way out this year, the end of this year, I'm going to try to jump back out.
I hear you. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was just like, yo, tell me the formula. Because I get to the edge and I'm like, I just, you know, it's.
Yeah. We're in California. If I was in Texas, I was thinking about going there, but my son's out here. If I was in Texas, I would have been like 100%. But I got a son and I got needs. I like Nikes, so I'm not. I like Nike stuff too.
I got a collection.
Yeah, I'm that type of poet. Like, we're those type of poets. Right, like, exactly. I'm not a sleep on the couch guy.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's not like. You know what? No, that's bad. That
soccer camps are expensive for kids, so
Well, you tell it exactly. It's track. And so, no, I love it, man. And I especially love that piece where you said, he was like, "How are you in front of audiences?" Because I've got that too. I remember an interviewer said, and he thought he had me. He was like, "Describe the color red." I was like, "You done messed up, dude."
Yeah, you're asking the wrong individual.
He was like, "Okay, I get it." After 15 minutes, he was like,
"Yeah,
okay, let's move to the next question." I was like, "Yeah, you messed up. You messed up."
They don't understand our powers. That will one day.
I'm saying. But no, again, Shawn William with no S. I am incredibly thankful that you exist in this world, man. I appreciate you. And anyone listening to this now and listening to this later on, please go find this man's work. Sit with it. Like, that's the thing. It's like Hennessy. Like, it's like port. You got to sit with the work and let it soak in, and you will feel it in your bones and your muscles. So again, appreciate you. Have a fantastic week. I may be down your way tomorrow for I think like 9th Street. There's a show, or Sunday, with El Martillo Press is doing something. So I may be in your neck of the woods. I'll give you a holler.
Might be at that. So yeah.
Oh, that's what's good.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, man. Thanks for everyone that's jumped on. Just shouting out Mike McGee, Donnie Jackson, that's on. These are also 2 incredible poets you need to go check out.
Amazing poets.
Brandon Liu is in the building as well. But yeah, man, thanks a lot. And I'll talk to you soon, bro.